Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl who was loved by everyone. Her grandmother adored her most and gave her a bright red cloak with a hood, which she wore so often that everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother asked her to take a basket of goodies to her sick grandmother, who lived in a cottage deep in the woods. Stay on the path and don't talk to strangers, her mother warned. Little Red Riding Hood set off happily. But as she walked through the forest, she met a sly wolf.
Where are you going, little girl?
The wolf asked. To my grandmother's house, she replied innocently, forgetting her mother's warning. The cunning wolf came up with a plan.
What a lovely day! Why not pick some flowers for your grandmother?
He suggested Little Red Riding Hood agreed and wandered off the path to gather flowers.
Meanwhile, the wolf hurried to grandmother's house. He knocked on the door, pretending to be Little Red Riding Hood.
Come in, dear, called grandmother. The wolf pounced in, locked her in a cupboard, and put on her nightgown and cap.
When Little Red Riding Hood arrived, she noticed her grandmother looked different.
Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have!
All the better to hear you with, my dear, said the wolf.
And grandmother, what big eyes you
All
have!
the better to see you with,
But grandmother, what big teeth you have!
all the better to eat you with.
Roared the wolf, jumping out of bed.
Little Red Riding Hood screamed, and a nearby woodcutter heard her cries. He burst into the cottage, chased the wolf away, and rescued grandmother from the cupboard.
From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood promised never to stray from the path again, and they all lived happily ever after.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Little Red Riding Hood screamed, and a nearby woodcutter heard her cries. He burst into the cottage, chased the wolf away, and rescued grandmother from the cupboard.
From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood promised never to stray from the path again. And they all lived happily ever after.